Sunday.
Yeah.
Ghetto Sunday. So explain that song to us.
It's funny. So I'll tell you a little story about Ghetto Sunday. So initially, I probably recorded it 2 years ago. 2 years ago it was recorded, and this is when I was still in the Marine Corps. I was in Quantico, and my boy at the time, he had a studio, and it was in Fredericksburg, Virginia. He had a home studio. It was in his basement, and so we recorded Ghetto Sunday. Now Ghetto Sunday Part 2 was the first Ghetto Sunday. It was the first Ghetto Sunday. And so I let it linger. I didn't really think nothing serious about it. Honestly, I didn't even like the song, rather. And so I said to myself, let me record it over. So when I got out of the military, I said, I got to find a studio to record this record over. But I had to put it together differently, and I wanted to come at a different angle. And so I took time with the record. I was just listening to what it was saying to me, because you had the minute sample in there that's saying hustle, hustle, you know. And so when I was hearing that, I'm thinking like, man, this is someone saying that I am propelling and I am striving for something greater than myself. And when I achieved that something, I wanted to have an impact for when I leave this planet and when I leave this earth. And that's the angle that I was really, you know, combining with when I heard Ghetto Sunday. So I said I have to tell a story, but I have to explain the story in more than one perspective, so everyone can understand this. And I have to really simplify it as much as possible, because I was really adamant about like making intricate lyrics and double entendres and things like that. And so I said, with this one here, I have to really, you know, correlate and vibe with the frictions that this instrumental was giving. So I recorded the record. I wrote it. I actually wrote it while I was driving. Actually, I was coming back from a job interview and driving. I'm writing the record, boom, 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 and it gets done, and I'm like, I don't even like it. So I go to the studio, I record it, like it's cool, and I let my friends hear it. I let one of my boys hear it. I let my girl hear it at the time, and they all were like, this is your record. So I said, all right. I hit my man up, shot with Ant. He came out. He came from Virginia. He came to New York. We shot the video. It was just him, one camera, myself, and we went all throughout Brooklyn. Got B-roll, Red Hook, and Brownsville. East New York. We tried to really just capture Brooklyn. We got some shots on the FDR. I mean, we went to Harlem. We didn't add those spots though into the video, because it didn't, you know, we wanted to make sense as far as the editing portion of it. But yeah, and we released the video, and October 13th we released the video, and it did, I want to say 20,000 views on its own. So when I see that, I said, this is it. We're gonna actually stand by this record. But you know, God is good, and luckily for me, we had at the time the right people to help put the resources into the record to get it to where it's gotten today. You know, 4.9 million views right now, almost 5 on YouTube, and an additional million views on Hip Hop Come Up, and then you have an additional 4.2 million on Shade Room and other websites and other blogs that have taken the record and pushed it to the masses. So, and if you ask me, I don't think the record has reached its full potential. I think once I actually hit that plateau and that apex as an artist, that's when people will really gravitate towards it, and then it'll jump towards that 100 million and et cetera and beyond. Yeah, that's Ghetto Sunday.
Yeah, I like it. One line, you said you traveled to PA to VA.
Yeah, so that line was me saying my transition from moving, because I moved from New York to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And that's where I joined the military from. But I was just saying my transition from moving from PA to VA. It was a transition. I moved from New York, moved to PA, and then from PA I'm going to Virginia. So it's like, man, I'm experiencing different people, different environments, different atmospheres, different lifestyles. And going from, you know, PA, I went to the military. So it was a culture shock on each move. So that's what I was saying. I would travel PA to VA. And they always, like, when I was in Virginia, they would always use the slang like hip. So that's why I added the line like hip. My ones kept me hip, so I traveled with them. So if you were hip, you understood what the person was saying. If you said
Okay.
I'm hip, or if you were saying something that was authentic, yo, that's hip. You know, it meant more than one term, like more than one term. So that's where they you know, I got the line hip, and that's it. Phenomenal song, and like I said, it definitely hasn't reached its full potential as of yet, but it's gonna reach its peak. It's gonna reach its peak, and for what it's doing so far, I mean, it's got me where I'm at right now.
Hate spending money on hoes and the way I clothes.
Oh man, so I said I hate spending money on hoes that got foes. It was a freestyle. I don't know. I had a little wine in me. It was a freestyle, and when I was in Virginia, I was dealing with the girls that was working inside the clubs. So it was like, you know, when you go in these clubs, and for me, I would like, you know, sit down with these girls, and I would get to know them, and then the next week, I would go sit down in the club again and meet somebody else. So I was always meeting women in these clubs, but they all knew each other, and some of them had, you know, differences with one another. So it was like, that I hate spending money that got full. You know what I mean? That is, it's unfortunate. Like, you know, what am I gonna get out of this?
How girls in VA? Are they better than New York?
They're open. They're a lot more open. I mean, it's funny because the girls that I've spoken to out here, they're not really from here. They move here. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird, but for the most part, I mean, they're cool. They're down to earth. They're open. You know, they're fun to talk to. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Streets.
Yeah.